The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
The Showdown Podcast presents the Survivor Series with Corey Miller, Vic Miller, and Brad Scott. This week's episode, The Running Man.
Feel it coming in the air. Hear the screams from everywhere. I'm addicted to the thrill.
I'm ready.
It's a dangerous love affair. Can't be scared when it goes down. Got a problem? Tell me now. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Welcome to the Showdown Podcast. This is another Survivor Series episode, and in this edition, we take on the 1987 movie, The Running Man, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I am, as always, joined by Corey, the Captain Corey. Corey, Captain Racism Miller, and Vic Arnold Schwarzenegger Miller, and I'm Brad Scott. So
why don't you have a nickname?
I forgot. Brad, the fast walk man, fast walking man, the fast walking man Scott. Because I don't run.
The light jog man.
That's still a little too much.
A little too fast.
I'm really lazy, Vic.
We got to stick on the slow side for you. I got you.
So, yes, we're here to talk about The Running Man, and we're gonna throw it over to Vic Miller for plot points.
Plot points. So, you realize that this movie was set a year from basically this year. So it was the imaginations of 2017, which there are just so many things in this movie that you're going, what the fuck were they thinking? But it starts out with the idea of the movie is that there's
except for the city did actually look like Detroit in 2016.
Yeah, I was thinking Detroit.
There's not much difference there, but Detroit always looks like that. So, no offense to anyone from Detroit. But basically, it's a totalitarian police state of the city. Basically, the government is broken down. People are just surviving how they can. And the government decides that they are going to pacify the people by giving them sports and entertainment that consists of people watching criminals die. It goes way back into the old times where they would have public hangings and beheadings. We've kind of circled back around, and this society takes its killers and murderers and puts them on a TV show called The Running Man. There goes our title. And makes them perform in this game against champions who are, I guess, modern-day superheroes to them. And they go in and hunt down the bad guys.
Dynamo look like a superhero?
Actually,
hey, there are big superheroes. He's big bone. He's husky.
they were actually modeled after professional wrestlers.
Well,
they got the idea.
Then why didn't they get, I don't know, actual professional wrestlers?
Well, they had
Wouldn't
one.
that have been-
Well,
I know they had the one who didn't even fight.
Yeah.
Well,
and he was still active. They said at the time when they
Was
filmed.
he?
But he didn't fight
No,
in
he
this
didn't.
movie.
Yeah, not in this movie. But no,
he's working more in his future governorhood.
they
Two governors in this movie.
That's true.
yeah.
Two, yeah. Only movie in history to have two governors in the movie not appearing with one of them's not appearing as themselves.
What about Predator? Because they were both in Predator too.
That's.
But this was the first, because Predator came out after this.
Did it?
I think so.
Yeah, that's what I said,
'Cause that's-
Corey. I said the first.
I'm going back to sleep.
You should. So, 2 years after, once they've basically come down. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a police pilot, and during the riots that caused the city to turn to a police state, Ben Richards, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is basically framed for massacring a huge food riot, which is basically just a bunch of hungry people gathering together to try to get food. And basically the police state killed them all and then said, oh, the pilot did it. Yeah, that's the ticket. And they made it seem like he was the only person in the helicopter who made the decision to basically swoop down and kill everyone there.
By the way, this says nothing about it being the only movie. I don't know where the fuck I got that from.
You probably could have let it go. No one ever would have known. No one's fact-checking in here,
That was me. That was all for me.
First one of the day, too.
I know.
And it went to you,
it was
of all
that
people.
bad.
Yeah.
I'll throw you one, too.
What were you just? You were just saying something about
The food riot.
The food riot.
And then they blame it all on him.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was funny though that the cameras. There was cameras that were documenting everything.
Yeah.
From multiple angles.
And so it's like, okay, so
And
you see like the scenes when they show you what he did. You see like from every possible conceivable angle. Like, why does this helicopter have like
Any
TV cameras
any
all
cameras at
over
all.
it? Like, why is this a thing?
I mean, yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing for the benefit of the movie viewer, but they actually showed it in the movie, which I was like, that always got to me. I was like, that doesn't even make sense.
So he gets captured. He gets sent to jail, and in this society, I guess you could say, they control their criminals by putting them in these collars that keep them in line. And if they break a rule, they basically blow their heads off. Mm-hmm. Which I'm still kind of at awe at that you managed to have a shaped microcharge that only pops the guy's head off, doesn't explode the whole body.
I'm just surprised that even after this movie's come out, we haven't done that yet.
It's been a premise in a lot of things. There's been several movies that have done that.
Yeah,
I mean, even to I think that it gives a nod to like the Suicide Squad has that same thing with the implants in the back of their neck, blows their heads off.
Well, they did it in Battle Royale
And also in Kingsman.
Oh yeah.
It was a thing. It became popularized, I think, and this movie is greatly to blame for it. Thanks a lot.
There was in the beginning one of the inmates tries to break free because he sees that the things are down, and when he tries to run across, they come back up and it blows his head off. They said that they had to cut down some of that so they didn't get an NC-17 rating because it was too gross. So they had to tame themselves.
So in that scene, they basically start the revolt, and they're all fighting against the guards, and they're after everybody. They're shooting people left and right. There's a guy that has his finger on that button to activate that system. I would have shot that guy first to make sure that he wasn't able to bring the system back online. It's not like he was in a tower. He's on the ground at like this little computer terminal. Yeah. And they're like, let's kill everybody else except for the guy that can blow our fucking heads off.
Which is funny, too, that he's just out in the open at a computer instead of being in some kind of
apparently,
office.
In the future, we don't learn how to protect ourselves. We just make stupid decisions. So basically, in the course of all of this craziness, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, Ben Richards, escapes. And he decides he's going to head back to the city and try to hook up with his brother to try to get some help to get out of the city. When he gets there, he finds out that his brother is no longer there. And he finds that Amber Mendez.
Mendez?
Isn't that somebody, though? Who is that?
She's an actress.
Okay, well, at least
she's just like probably 20 years younger than the girl that was in this movie.
She was barely born.
I don't even think she was born yet.
No, she was born in 87.
So, and that's played by Maria Conchita Alonso.
You don't think Eva Mendes is 29?
I don't know. I don't know. She could be.
I know she's an adult, so I'm off, but I'm not crazy. But she
is 42.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
I never would have figured that out.
So she works for the.
I don't even think she was born.
Hey, I'm giving her credit. She should be happy.
No, she could join our vampire club.
Part of the vampire
club. Also,
we have a new inductee.
Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani, yeah.
Yeah, man, looks hotter now.
Yeah.
Than she even did.
Was the what's the acne stuff that they always sell?
Proactive.
She's post-proactive, so all that chemical peeling of the face, turn into a vampire. She's all good. So he gets back. The chick works for the company that puts out the TV show, and the government and the police state control all forms of media. So anything that they feel needs to be either hidden or changed, they just do it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So when he escapes, obviously they make it a big deal because he is the butcher of Bakerfield. So they want him captured. Which, by all rights, if you were the butcher of Bakerfield, why would they put you in jail anyway? Why wouldn't they have just put you directly into the game? Why would they wait? Like, wouldn't you want to get rid of...
I mean, they didn't wait too long.
You would want... It's been 2 years.
Oh, that's right.
They waited 2 years. I'm like, if that's the point, you want to hide this? Because you're covering your ass. Like, the whole point was they're covering their ass, trying to get rid of him and get him off the books. Just fucking kill him. Why wait 2 years to be like, we're going to put you over here where you can talk to everybody about what actually happened?
Yeah.
Instead of just offing them.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
I mean, it took them a while, but 2 years later, they finally get around to it. He kidnaps her and basically tries to explain his situation to her, which doesn't work out well. So he takes her hostage and decides he's gonna get away to Hawaii because everybody wants to go to Hawaii. He tries to go to the worst possible place to go when you're an escaped criminal and they have your picture on every national TV station. Let's go to the fucking airport.
And if I can steal a phrase from Brad's other show, he got Undertakered.
Oh yeah, I got kicked. Well, yeah, but here's the thing, Vic. No, he was actually
the lights never got turned.
He
on.
was actually fine until she Undertakered him and then screamed because, this was obviously pre 9/11.
Oh God!
Because all he had to do was scan the thing and then act like he was looking for the other one. I thought he was going to do the thing where he put his hand in there with the thing and pulled his other one back out so that he scanned it again. But instead, the guy's like, I don't want to wait for you.
I'm aggravated with you, so just go. Jesus. TSA has changed a lot in the future. In 1 year, TSA has changed their complete layout of how they do things. But, I mean, you know who this guy is. I mean, they obviously didn't know exactly who he was, but Arnold Schwarzenegger is a pretty noticeable guy. Yeah. And he's got on, a pair of sunglasses and a hat. No one's going to notice it.
I think it was the Hawaiian shirt that really disguised him.
That's when I started wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
But they realize who he is, and they try to stop him. Like you said, she Undertakers him. But the part that cracked me up was that chick that was talking to her afterward. He's like, she could have raped you. He could have murdered you. He could have murdered you, then raped you. I'm like, oh my God, this chick is really into rape and murder. Yeah. She's got some proclivities that we need to talk about.
Why would you ever have turned him in?
When he could have done all that to you. Yeah, that chick was a little creepy.
So, they catch him, and then they basically force him to be into the game by telling him that his two buddies that he had met 2 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah, fuck them. They can be in the game, sure.
We've already split off from each other.
Surprise. The protagonist is the noble guy who
of course
just wants to do everything right. So he takes their place, and Richard Dawson is great.
Yes.
He is so good.
And as a heel, to have him play that character, because everybody's like, Richard Dawson's such a nice guy. Like when you see him on TV shows and stuff, he's such a nice and caring and warm guy.
And making out with every woman.
Ultimate dick.
But at the same time, I mean, he was still a game show host in real life, so it's kind of like Eminem and 8 Mile.
Right.
He was basically playing a sleazy game show host.
Yeah, but he wasn't a dick on his shows.
No.
In this, he's a dick.
No, but he wasn't really as much of a... Well. He wasn't really a dick on this show. He was a dick to the people in real life off the show.
You're talking... Oh, yeah, his
character. When he's on the ICS show, he's not a dick to...
Right. No. But he's an undercover dick.
Yeah. Except for the one lady at the end. But anyways, go ahead. Yeah. We'll talk about her later. So they start in the game.
Right. So they get him, they drug him, they dose him with this gas because, trying to knock him out with a needle would have been too hard. They put him inside of this gigantic bobsled thing and shoot him down a tunnel. This big long tunnel from a water.
How great would have been when they started if it was like, feel the rhythm, feel the rhythm. Watch out now, it's bobsled time. Cool running.
Would have been awesome.
Before they started everything out, they had the big dance number with all those.
Yeah, the Solid Gold dancers.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it was. It was like a scene from the Solid Gold. That's all it was.
Now, the person that put that troupe together was Paula Abdul.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Was she in it?
No, she wasn't in it.
She was just a choreographer.
I'm not even sure she choreographed it, but she did.
No, she did. She choreographed the opening dance sequence.
Did she? Okay. Yeah, they didn't mention. I listened to the commentary, so I picked up a few things, but they didn't mention anything about that. But they just said that she put the troupe together.
So he gets sent into the maze, which is basically the old city. They built the new city on top of the old city, so it's that whole thing they always do with kind of like the post-apocalyptic dystopian thing. And they said that they had set it up for the battles. He gets down there. There's like a net that catches the thing at the end of it. Mm-hmm. Like, you could have just saved some time, just let him die. Since they go back and post-produce this entire show, actually not even go back, they do it like on the fly, which is pretty damn impressive.
Especially with the technology that they had at the time.
It's just horrible. But they should have just killed him. Like, I'm still of the opinion of like, just kill this fucker and end it, and then make up whatever you want, because that's what you've been doing the whole damn time. Why go through all this?
The thing that I always wondered about, and I still don't understand. Each one of them came down, hit that orange netting, right? But every time that other like thing that they were riding in is gone. So were they going in? Were they stopping at different points, or did they just move it out of the way for the other one to come through?
Who would have moved it?
That's what I'm saying. So where did it go?
But his two buddies, so Laughlin and Weiss, who were the two guys that were imprisoned with him, played by Yaphet Kotto. I love that dude's name. It always cracks me up. And Marvin J. McIntyre are also sent in with him in order to do it. And he was supposed to be saving them. Like, the whole idea was that he was going to keep them from having to go into it, right? And then they just sent their asses down there, too. They're like, fuck you guys, you're going in also. So the first stalker, and the stalkers, like you said, they are, a la wrestlers / heroes for hire, kind of mercenary guys that hunt down the criminals and become the heroes for the general public, because they can't do this, so they get these guys to go in. It's Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. All I think is Mortal Kombat.
And it's a hockey rink.
Yeah. So specialized, and then how do they just, is there like a switching station inside of there? So what if they didn't pick Sub-Zero to be the first one?
Well, no.
Would he have automatically landed in Sub-Zero's zone and nothing would have happened?
Well, don't they like direct them? Don't they have the guys in the motorcycles that direct them? Like, kind of like chase them in the direction they want to go?
No, those guys were Sub-Zero's like henchmen for that.
Okay, I just assumed that they were like in the middle place somewhere.
Yeah, no.
And those guys were like directing them.
No, they each kind of had henchmen that was kind of like to keep them in line so that they didn't get away while they were fighting them. But they were for that specific thing, because their motorcycles had those spikes on them so they could ride around on the ice. So those were specifically for that. But so Sub-Zero comes in. That's Charles Kalani Jr. And he is a hockey murderer. I don't know how else to explain him. He's a big, giant guy with a hockey outfit on, which I've tried hockey before, and as big as I am, that dude's bigger than me, I think. And that is not comfortable, skating on ice as big as we are. So for him to be that agile on there.
The hockey stick was really cool, though.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah. Bladed, what is it, titanium reinforced, cut anything in half hockey stick. If you have weapons like that, you really can't do it. But going through the whole thing, like, it just seems like...
It was a pain in the neck.
Which, ironically enough, he manages to, he starts going in and starts...
but before he goes into the Sub-Zero thing, he says to Richard Dawson, "I'll be back."
Yeah. This whole movie, like, is nonstop. Like, I don't know why, but I think they just wrote the entire script so that he could run around doing one-liners, because all he does the entire.
Well, that's like his most famous line ever.
Yeah.
And why is it always credited with Terminator 2? Why is it never credited as the Running Man line? Eric, because if I say "I'll be back," what do you immediately think first?
Well, I think because Terminator.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Terminator was more of a hit, and Running Man wasn't so much.
Okay, yeah, Running Man didn't do well in the box office, but it's also, I think that, like, he says that, but then it's just kind of like a throwaway line. But in this, and when he's like, it's more resolute in Terminator than I think it is in this. So
Sub-Zero, more like Plane Zero.
Horrible. Which doesn't make
any sense
at all
whatsoever.
because Sub-Zero is less than zero, so technically he just elevated him. He's like, you're better than you were now that I've killed you. Which they set this whole thing up, like, I guess the whole idea is, like, force them into these situations where they're not going to be able to get out of it, where they're going to get killed by these guys. But they give them every possible opportunity to kill these guys by having stuff in there that they could use. Okay, so you just happen to have barbed wire that could be cut in half. You could use to noose the guy and garrote him to death.
And he pulled that down quick and easily.
Like, did he get to like scope out the landscape before he got there and like, figure out what he was going to do?
No, I don't think that didn't bother me as much.
No, it doesn't. But it just so convenient.
Because it is a game show. If you don't give them any other chance, it is just murder.
Yeah, but they don't want to give them any chance.
No, but I'm saying, but they have to give at least give the illusion. How many guys would think to grab that piece of wood and rip down the thing? Like, how,
Yeah.
they have to. There has to be some element of possibility. Otherwise, it's just a snuff show.
Well, some people like that kind of stuff, but you know.
Oh, Corey.
So while this is all going on, and the Conchita, I'm going to call her Conchita from now on, so I can't remember her name. She is kind of wondering what actually happened because she starts to believe some of the stuff that he said. So she goes looking through the archives of this of the TV station.
Well, because they lie about
what actually
happened at the airport,
Right.
saying that he shot and murdered the guards or whatever.
Which again is this point of. There were a lot of people around. Did they take out all the people that were there so that everyone would believe what happened?
Yeah.
Like, because that's a lot of witnesses. It was like the Bakersfield Massacre all over again. They just added it to his body count.
Yeah, you would think that people would be like, wait a minute, I was there. That didn't happen.
So she has now kind of understood that he may be telling the truth, so she wants to go and look and see what's going on. So she goes to the archive, which conveniently is a file box, a file cabinet. That this is supposed to be 2017. Everything probably should be computerized, but I'll let it go. But she happens to just go into a file cabinet that has all of the information on these, like, they kind of look like X-rays. That's what the paper looks like. It looks like an X-ray.
And they're labeled. They're labeled raw footage.
Yeah. And I'm like, again, if you're trying to hide this shit, burn that tape.
Yeah, like, don't keep it with everything else.
Put it out there and burn that motherfucker.
Or like make it like Tonight Show, Monday, blah blah. Give a date.
Like hiding your porn stash.
Yeah.
But like, what do you mean? That's not Debbie Does
Children's
Dallas.
recital. Nobody's watching that shit.
Vacation, spring break vacation. Nobody wants to watch somebody else's spring break vacation.
There's an entire video empire created around watching other people's spring break vacation.
Is it really?
Girls Gone Wild, my friend.
This is a true statement.
Good point. Good point.
Very true statement. So she does figure out that what he's been saying is true. She takes everything and she gets caught. And they basically, Damien's like, oh, so you want to out us? Fine. We'll just throw your ass in the game, too. So he adds her as a special guest runner and throws her down into the pit.
And I can't help but think, if you're in the crowd going, why is she in there? What'd she do?
No, remember they announced a whole bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, she was his compatriot in arms or his love interest or whatever it was.
They showed this scene where the announcer's like reading it, and he's like, whore. And
Isn't that the same chick from the airport?
That he kidnapped, apparently?
That he kidnapped?
Well, Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, okay.
He kidnapped her for 5 minutes. She fell in love with him, and that was it. But
she is her lover.
So they put her into the Running Man unitard.
Sponsored by Adidas.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And throw her ass into the pit.
That just shows you what kind of company Adidas is. Like, they reached out and they were like, hey, we need to make these rubber suits for these this movie where these people are like in a game show for their life fighting to the death, and it is like, fuck it, yeah.
All day we dream about
Put
sex.
3 stripes on that bitch.
And I'm glad that they had suits that fit everybody too.
Of course. Well, it's one size fits all. It's a feature.
And it's like,
material.
it's like, well, Adidas, what are you doing? Like, people wearing those suits never live. If I was Adidas, I'd been like, we want to sponsor the other guys.
Yeah, we want to put the suits on those other guys. But I think like that was the year like the like when this came out was one of the first times like the full like running suits were like big in the Olympics and stuff where they weren't just wearing shorts and stuff.
Was it?
They were wearing.
I
those
know. I
suits
remember
on
what you're
a regular
talking about
basis,
now. Yeah.
They were a little thinner than these and much tighter and everything else. But rather than having to like shave everything off, that would make them. They thought it would make them more wind resistant. Which I don't know why this needed to be a thing in the Running Man, but so they put them in there. One of the things that happened though. Is there is a broadcast station in the middle of the Running Man zone for some reason that they broadcast everything through, and the resistance, which is trying to get the truth out about everything that's happened and show that the government are a piece of shit and that they're lying to everybody, they needed to get Weiss in there in order to break into the uplink and then get their feed out there so people could see the truth of what was actually going on.
Yeah, that whole part I thought was dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Because I just kept being like, wait, what do you guys do? Why wouldn't you just try to win the game? Like,
well, if they win the game, they go on a sunny vacation. So,
yeah,
but if they do win the game, then like
dead.
still all that shit because they're not going to let they put Arnold in there for him to die. They're not going to let him out. So even if they thought he was going to win, there's no way he believed he was getting out of there. And
yeah, so that part took a whole long time. Them just fucking running around looking for a computer. That thing with the code was stupid as shit too. Like, I find that very hard to believe that she couldn't fucking get the numbers right. When he repeated, like she couldn't repeat it back 2 seconds later correctly, but then fucking hours later, she's just gonna have that shit by
that's she was repeating it in her head. If you say it 88 times, then you'll remember it. That's what it was going.
But I'm
for.
saying when she did repeat it, she's like 17-7-4, and he's like, no, dumb whore, like 17-17.
Well, they were under pressure, but the funny part is like because they killed Sub-Zero so quickly, they're like, oh shit. They got rid of like one of our best guys. Let's throw 2 stalkers in there and see if that works out. So they throw Dynamo, who his character is basically an operatic light bright on steroids.
Yeah, fucking giant gay light bright.
That's exactly it. So they
Dynamo. That was how he announced himself too. That was how he announced it.
And they put
Dynamo, and
they put Buzzsaw in there, who's just a guy riding around on a motorcycle with like chainsaws. Like, okay,
I'm electric,
which doesn't do jack shit. Buzzsaw gets fucking his nuts ripped in half by a chainsaw, and this idiot's just kind of standing there waiting to see what happens. The whole time that they're trying to catch him, like fucking Buzzsaw's riding around fucking trying to slice niggas up. Oh. God damn it, slipped.
We need to remind people that was Vic and not Brad, because there's times I get me and your voices confused when I listen, and I'm one of them.
And I am a certified black man.
Yes, he's allowed to say
he's
that.
running around.
Hang on, Vic, hang on. Okay, go ahead.
Running around cutting people out with chainsaws, and nobody like this other dude who's there. Like, what happened to unified attack? If you're going as a tag team, like, do they really need to like, hey, it's your turn, Corey, get in here, let's go, you go get him, like,
and that stupid little fucking car
with his head sticking out.
Dynamo.
Here's my fancy car.
When that car flipped over, that wasn't supposed to do that. They almost that dude almost got injured for real. Yeah.
Well, let's put this, okay, I weigh 375 pounds, okay? I'm big. That dude's bigger than me. He had to be 400, 500, 450 pounds. In this little teeny tiny cage, okay, and poke his head out through the top of it. That's not a smart planning at all.
Hey, you know what? That dude might have missed out on, almost dying in that car thing. He died a few months later of heart failure.
Well,
oh, did he really?
Yeah,
congestive heart failure.
Shock.
That was a problem. He didn't shock. couldn't get him back. If he had his own abilities, he may have been able to give himself a little kick of the heart.
Do you think they buried him in the light bright suit?
Would have requested it. His ex-wife hates him. She makes them bury him in it with an open casket. It was horrible. So they go through the whole thing. Weiss finally get to the uplink station, and Weiss is trying to get the code because they need the code in order to jack the signal. And he's like, you have to remember this number, and he's trying to tell her the number because he's been injured. He knows he's probably not going to make it. So Dynamo waits conveniently until after he gets the entire number off to kill him. He's like, yeah, go ahead. You get that. And he's like, I'm charging my fucking fireball, which doesn't charge up until conveniently
He may not have
after
known what he
throws
was
it.
doing, though.
Maybe. But if there's an uplink station, he's breaking into something, they were pretty much killing him for touching a doorway. I'm pretty sure he probably should have killed him. But he gets killed, so he gets a score. But she, like you said, for whatever reason, couldn't remember the numbers, which, under extreme stress, maybe she couldn't remember.
Nobody, no, it's hard shit to remember. And then
I can't remember some people's phone numbers. So.
They inevitably, because then they find out that black dude is dead.
Right.
And then that's where they find the people, right?
They find no, not quite.
Oh, okay, no, because then, that's when people start betting on him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they're like, who's? He asked the old lady. He's like, so, darling, here's all your prizes. We're gonna give you all this swag for being whoever you are, because she's a loyal watcher. And she's like, I'm gonna pick Ben Richard. He's one bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, Grandma, yes.
And did you notice that, like, with the people betting, it's like he just killed 3 people by himself, and he's still 100-1.
There was a thing.
What?
There was a thing on one of the things where they're talking about the fact that bet is the worst bet ever made. That dude put 100-1 odds on him. Okay, so if you walked up and handed them $20 for that, they'd owe you what, 20 grand?
2,000.
Was this 2,000?
Yeah.
Is that how it works? I don't know. I don't bet anything.
Because you just add the number of zeros when it's like that. So it'd be, if it's 100-1, $20 would be 2,000. But yeah, the one dude bet $200. So that would have been 20,000.
Right. Okay, so you're screwed. If he wins, they're going to be gunning for that dude, and then that's only one person they showed. How many more of them actually? How many more of them do you think actually bet on him?
Yeah, and
I would have bet on him.
I've never understood how that process works either. You always see it in movies and stuff where people are just yelling shit out and handing money.
Yeah,
like you're like, oh, well, that seems.
I'm guessing professional bookies have a system. Like maybe they got photographic memories, and there's somebody over there writing shit down.
Doesn't seem like
either way, it doesn't seem like a good way to keep track, because I'd be like, oh, I lost, I'm just going to duck down and duck the fuck out.
Well, no, but you already gave him your money. Like, that's where I think it would get confusing.
No, that's true. I don't know. If I want my fucking money, though. I'd be the first one in line.
So who do they beat next?
So after Dynamo, they incapacitated Dynamo. He got flipped over in his car and basically pussed out and ran for it.
Oh, yeah, and then after people start betting on him stuff, that's when Richard Dawson is like, oh, I'm going to try to get him on our team. And he tries to give him a job, and he's like, oh, I'm going to pull out your goddamn spine.
Reach in your belly and pull out your spine.
Bite my hand.
And then he turns him down. So then that's when they send out Fireball.
Right.
Fireball.
And Fireball is played
Vic's favorite
by,
stalker.
Of course.
Played
That's
by Jim
JJ's
Brown.
dad.
JJ.
Yeah, from Good Times.
No, it's not.
Isn't that him?
No.
No?
It's played by Jim Brown.
Jim Brown is professional
He
Football
football player.
And the reason why
He looks like JJ's dad to me, though.
they got him, at the time he was considered like the best running back ever to play football, and they thought if they kept him towards the end, then it would make more sense because he was so dominant in real life. That's why they kept his character from coming in so late.
Well, he gets in there, and basically his thing is he's got a flamethrower. He's named Fireball. So, and he's got a flying fucking jetpack.
Yeah.
Which he can only seem to go up and down with. You can't actually fly.
They killed that dude off pretty quickly, too.
Well, stupid fucking... So I guess each one of their areas is tailored towards those people. But again, I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck do they know where to send them? Because there was a lot of, like, flammable shit in his area. So I'm assuming that was his zone.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have seen them do something to say, like, oh, well, the next one is Fireball. Let's get them over here or something along that line. Would have made a lot more sense to me. But
Yeah, but it seemed to me like they could run wherever they wanted to. So yeah, going along with what you were saying, it's like they could have ran anywhere.
You would have gone, you should have gone to Sub-Zero.
yeah, just turn around and
Gone
go
back there. But I guess you do have to get through 4 of them, right? Is what they're told.
Yeah, you have to beat 4 of them in order to get your sunny vacation in Hawaii or wherever it is that they were sending them.
And then they try to get Captain Freedom.
Well, hold on, hold on. The first thing they're fighting him, and he's basically like, oh fuck, I'm gonna kill him. He corners them in this weird, like, it looked like a school locker room type of situation area. But there are barrels of flammable liquid, which I'm assuming was supposed to be gasoline, all over the place in that thing. If you watch, it knocks over that barrel, and it's just like. But he pulls the thing, which is why I never understood why anyone would want to use a flamethrower as a weapon that had like a backpack flamethrower. Because like you shoot that, you're done. Anyone who plays Division right now on Xbox Live, Black and Angry, feel like Hugh and Angry. They have these guys running around with the same kind of flamethrower on, and like you basically aim, you pop one bullet, and the flame starts shooting out of it, and they explode, take out the whole group. Like I would never use that as a weapon. First of all, second of all. This idiot is tracking them down. He corners them into this room. He sees her. Where the fuck did Ben Richards go? There's really nowhere to go. That was the whole point of cornering him in there. He disappears. Fucking monkey-ass Arnold Schwarzenegger
Again, that was Vic. That was Vic who
Hold
said
on, I
that.
didn't drop an N-bomb there, did I?
Well, whenever you're talking about a scene with a black guy,
Oh, okay.
You're just throwing around monkey ass. I want to make sure people knew that was Vic. That was Vic.
And not me.
I was referring to Arnold's monkey ass. Comes swinging out of the rafters and pulls the cord out of the gas line out of his backpack, which then he starts flipping out like a bitch. Oh my God, my fuel line falls on his back like a turtle, and then just lays there screaming instead of taking off the fucking backpack and stepping away. In which, remarkably, Arnold Schwarzenegger has a flare. I don't know where the flare came from. Did anyone else see where the flare came from?
He had it in his ass.
It's possible. It's very possible, but I don't think so. But he goes on to say, he goes on to basically throw this flare at this guy. He lights on fire, explodes, and kills the dude. I'm like, this could have been avoided. Why were I really do want to know where those flares come. I don't know if I missed something. Did I blink? Did anyone else see, like, was there a box of flares there?
Nah.
Maybe it was a deleted scene. I don't know. I don't know.
But why delete that scene? And then all of a sudden he's like, ha, flare.
I found this over there.
Although maybe if that's his little area, maybe there's flares around.
Maybe as a secondary, like, trap him in the room, spill the gas, like, light a flare and throw it out.
Or just, like, again, I think they're supposed to try to give them a chance. Because otherwise people wouldn't watch.
Do you think they give him like like something in there is designed to then be able to fight back? But they don't want him to kill the stalker. Like, wouldn't you? I wouldn't be a stalker if I knew they were trying to.
But I'm saying they make it so difficult. Look at the scenarios that he had to go through to get that, to where the flare was even useful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they've given him a chance. This is just, of course it's a movie. This is just the guy that gets all the 1% chances.
Right. It's the guy the camera guy keeps handing the clips for the gun so he can keep shooting. So they kill him. So ICS, which is Killian, the TV station, they're like, oh my God, he's taken out the entire fucking group. We need to do something. So that's when they try to call in Captain fucking America.
Captain Freedom.
Captain America.
Captain fucking America. Donald Trump. What? Okay.
What?
But he refuses.
Right, because he's like, fuck this. This dude has killed like 4 of our best people. Mm-hmm. Nobody else in this fucking room full of stalkers, which there were hundreds of them in that room, that staging room.
In the beginning.
Like, where the fuck they all come from is like, I want to know what all those guys were. He's like, I'm not doing this. This is bullshit.
Well, no, but he didn't want to do it because he's like, I want to go fight him hand to hand. He's like, I don't want to wear this stupid shit. And they're like, no, you're going to wear the stupid shit. And then they did
I'm going back to Minnesota.
They did the body double where they just faked.
Yeah, that's where that came in.
And technologically speaking, considering like they didn't have any kind of like real technological advances in the movie, all of a sudden this thing is like the perfect like morphing of another person's thing. But on their way out of Fireball's area, they found these winners that they were showing off the entire time as being winners and surviving the game. They figured out that they didn't survive the game. Fucking Fireball had burned them all up in this room, so it's been a lie the entire time, and they want to expose that too.
Yep,
Which comes up again later on. Remind me when we start talking about that broadcast. That fucking bullshit, again, is something that should not have happened the way it happened. So remind me to tell you about that.
Okay.
But so they go through. Killian, like you said, Killian wants to try to keep him from killing anybody else. He wants to put him on the payroll. He's like, bullshit. And he's like, I want you to go down there and kill this guy. He's like, I'll go down there and kill him, but I'm not going to do it in this fucking getup. Which, what was his? Was he just like a body armor?
He looked like that Nintendo robot.
Yeah. Like, I was like, that's the most ridiculous looking, squared off, angled piece of crap I've ever seen. And then when he took it off, he literally just kind of shook his arms and his shoulders and it fell off. Like, it just kind of just fell off of him like it wasn't even on there. So I don't know what kind of bullshit, things they're doing. But she gets back. They get back on track, and he's like, "I'm gonna go kill this guy." He's like, "You can't kill this guy." The rebellion, and in the interim, has managed to make their way into the station.
Now the rebellion is led by Mick Fleetwood of Fleetwood Mac.
You can go your own way. Is that a Fleetwood Mac song?
And one of the guys, one of the other characters whose name is Stevie, which is also somebody from Fleetwood Mac.
Stevie Nicks,
is played by Dweezil Zappa, Frank Zappa's son.
All right,
Dweezil.
Trivia.
What was the other one? Moon Puppy.
Moon, and I forget what the other one was. But anyway,
so they end up cutting into the signal. And they show the audience that,
only because she could remember the...
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, she remembers the codes, and they show them like all the past winners. They show them like the skeleton remains. Then they show the actual footage from the helicopter thing. And then,
which I'm really surprised she was able to hold on to that footage through the entire time.
She had it in her vagina.
She had some serious fucking...
She had it in her vagina, right? It was a vagina or ass.
There's nothing else could have done, but that would have been some uncomfortable running. I don't care who you are.
It's vagina or ass. That's how it was made
scratchy. Because I didn't see it. That was a skin tight suit, and you didn't see any squares.
Well,
anywhere,
you know that they put the suit on her too, so they had to have stripped her down, and they would have seen that fall out.
That was some quick.
Maybe she's a big vagina.
No, she was like, oh, this is the tape, and then she was like, oh, I hear somebody. That's all those Kegel exercises they talk about. Squeeze.
So then Arnold comes through because he's Bach, and with like a team of guys, and they all fucking start taking out people. And the studio audience is like, oh, he was supposed to be dead. Oh, it's all been a lie.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and...
the worst bad guys ever, too. And Arnold Schwarzenegger shoots this one staircase, and these guys just keep pouring through that door.
Oh, no.
The entire time he's shooting at it.
Oh, no, the one time when they're all coming through, the one guy is just spraying bullets, and they don't even duck or anything. It just goes over their heads, and then Arnold just takes one shot. Did you notice that? It was every time Arnold would just take one bullet, and he'd hit whoever he was shooting at.
That's what we used to do on Call of Duty. We'd sit there and wait in the doorway and wait for somebody to walk through and just shoot them, and then they'd respawn and come back to the same doorway.
If it's an AI, it's understandable. But even to that point, I've played games where I'm looking at it going, Jesus Christ, somebody created an AI that says there's a pile of fucking dead bodies there. Let's go a different direction.
Yeah, but this was in the survival, or not survival mode, in the battles. And it wasn't, they were real people.
It's ridiculous. That's because you're a camper, apparently.
So then the studio audience leaves. And Arnold confronts Richard Dawson and his bodyguard, not Dolph Lundgren.
Sven. His name is Sven.
Svenvold. Svenvold.
That's LaForge from Mallrats.
Oh, okay. He leaves him though. He leaves him hanging. Because he's sick of him.
he's like, yeah, I'm on steroids or whatever the fuck he says. Something about
I could not I watched that like 6 times. What does he say to him?
He said something because he said something to him earlier about him stopping
steroids.
him. He's like, get your steroid something or
I
another
thought he was
over
saying
here.
that to Ventura.
No, he was saying that to Sven because when he was struggling, he was trying to get him in the seat or whatever. He told him to get his steroid using butt over there or whatever. So when he came over, so he was like, yeah. He's like, I actually thought this was one of the better parts. Like, finally, the big dude, rather than just coming over and fighting Arnold, he's like, no, you get what you fucking get, dick, and walks away. Which I appreciated that.
And then he puts him, and then Arnold puts him in the little rocket sled thing and sends him out, and it crashes into the wall, and he dies.
Not only crashes into a wall, it goes flying into a fucking
a billboard. Yeah.
Like, wait, it like skipped like a rock. Like, I'm not sure how this trajectory works. And what the fuck happened to that net?
The net. Where'd it go?
Like, was someone down there like, clip and unhook the net?
It's the same person that took all the other
There's a production assistant. He's been pissing off nonstop. He just unhooked the
it's
net.
The same guy that gave him the flare. And then they kiss. And they leave.
Oh,
and that's
no.
the
We
movie.
forgot one part.
What's that?
When she gets out, Dynamo comes back.
Oh, yeah.
Dynamo comes
and
back
he tries to rape her. And she's...
I forgot about that. Yeah.
He pulls down his pants. He's got on a pair of big-ass tighty whities.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I was like, man, this dude does not look like intimidating.
No, not at all. He looks ridiculous.
Like
fiber optic fucking
fat
mohawk
gay
looking
baby
thing. Get inside my. So he threatens. He's trying to rape her, and they turn on the water, and he electrocutes himself.
Yeah.
There's problems with this,
which is weird because there was water all over his little area.
Yeah.
Like there were puddles around.
And she didn't get electrocuted at all. Like, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to get electrocuted, I'm going to grab her ass and take her with me.
No, but she did get a one-liner in. Now, that must have come as a shock.
Now, that must have come as a shock because that's how she talked. And then they share a nice passionate kiss, and then there's your credits.
So overall, there were so many things in this movie. Like, I was just like, what are you people doing? Like, where is this coming from? And like, her scenes cracked me up because the entire time, once she really revealed that she had that tape, I could no longer look at her at all besides going, where the fuck did she have that thing the whole time this is going on? And apparently in the future, they're still using VHS and cassette tapes in 2017.
They're just smaller.
Yeah, in 2017. So I'm pretty sure we're not using any of that shit.
There was one little thing that we didn't mention. It was when the girl was saying he could have raped you and all that. She was buying a Coke, and it was $6. $6 for a Coke.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, when you make movies like this and you're imagining how inflation is going to affect things, and I know you kind of go crazy with it just to emphasize the morality of big business or whatever the fuck it is, but $6 really?
Yeah.
For a knockoff Coca-Cola?
And I will say this movie had 4 different directors. They had 3 different they had 2 different ones.
Well, let's get...
You want to wait?
Let's get into all that because we just got through. That's why I went like this. I gave Corey the break sign.
Okay.
And then he was just like, well, fuck that. Let's get to all that after the break.
All right, after the break,
we got
we'll
a bunch of stuff to talk about, so enjoy these commercials.
We need to go over the hand signals again.
It's commercial time. All right, Corey, where can the people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at MKOGonzo.
Vic?
You can find me online at MillerKing51 or online on Xbox One at Black and Angry. That's BLAQ and Angry.
And you can find me at BradScottComedy.com. Links to social media there as well. At Brad Scott Comedy is most of it. And Comedian Brad Scott on Facebook. Also, if you're going to be at the Atlantis in the Bahamas from the 19th of April to the 1st of May, I will be at the Jokers Comedy Club at the Atlantis in Bahamas. And you can find The Showdown at The Showdown Pod on Twitter. Follow us and like us on Facebook, The Showdown Podcast. Somebody should. All right, let's get back to the show. right, we are back, and we've had some time to deliberate since we've seen this film. Let's get right to it. Corey does 1987's. Let's do a recap. We were talking about 1987's The Running Man, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we just did a recap of the plot. So that's we've gone through everything. Corey, what is your decision? Is it a Survivor?
Indeed, it is.
All right, and Vic.
I have to go with no. Absolutely not.
And that is going to be 2-1 on the no. It does not survive for me as well, so it is not going to the Hall of Fame. Oh man, yeah. Why didn't you think it survived?
Well, I mean, for one, like I said, there were just so many things. Like I remember watching this. I was like 14 years old when this came out, so I'm dating myself. But I remember being excited about this movie. Like it was cool to see, Arnold kicking people's ass. There were like science, like cars and guys in flashy suits and flamethrowers and all this stuff. I remember being excited watching this movie and not noticing all of the horrible fucking crap going on in this movie that now me is going, this is fucking bullshit. How did I not notice this before? But I think, as a 14-year-old mind, you're like fire, gunfire, blades, saws, people getting kicked in the nuts. Like
your palette's more clear. Your palette's clearer as well, because you haven't seen nearly as many films with better effects and everything else.
It's just there are some serious holes, and I remember watching this a couple times, here and there over the years, and going, it's worth sitting down and just letting it play. But watching it this time, I realized that I am no longer a fan of this movie at all. Like, it was a chore. It was a real chore.
Yeah, and it felt to me like it was better in theory. Like, the idea of it, when you tell somebody about the movie, to me it sounds better in your head than it does when put into practice here.
Yeah.
Because it just felt so cheesy. When the actual idea is very dark, And I hate to be this guy, because I hate this guy. I am not much of a reader. But I did read this book when I was younger, and the book is so much better. Not because it's like one of those things where it's like, well, it's because it's a book. My imagination can create effects that no, filmmaker ever could. It's not that. It's not that at all. It's just literally the story
is totally different.
It's so totally different.
And it's a Stephen King story, so there should have been some seriously dark.
It should have been dark, yeah. Like, this felt, and Arnold Schwarzenegger actually complained about this, that this was shot like a television show. And that's how it felt to me. It felt more like a TV show. It didn't feel like an R-rated, fucked up, dystopian society movie. Even when they showed the actual parts of the society, it's just that long-ass shot with just the one billboard screen that you can tell is just like a wallpaper for a Microsoft 9 or 85, Windows 85. I was going to say Windows 95. I was going to say Windows 95.
Well, they talk about on the commentary how like a lot of the exterior stuff that was all matte paintings. Even with,
you could tell.
Even with
it looked like shit. That's not like with a big revelation.
No.
You'll never believe this.
No, but even still, some of the shots where you actually see people moving around and stuff, you'd see the bottom part of a building, but it'd be a matte painting above it to make the building look even bigger.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But okay, so the book.
Yeah, the book.
The book is so like in the story in the book. I don't know. Is it still Ben Richards?
Yeah,
his daughter is sick.
His daughter's sick,
and he needs to get the money to be able to take care of his daughter. So he volunteers to go on the show because he makes 100. And instead of it being you just have to get through these 4 quadrants, it's you have to survive for 30 days.
Yeah, and it's like in this like dystopian city or whatever.
Yeah, well, no, you can go anywhere.
Yeah,
because he goes to like Boston and he goes to Derry.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he goes all over the place, and they give him a certain amount of money and a camera, and he has to send in these 2 video clips a day. To check in and whatever.
So it's like Bear Grylls surviving in the wild.
And the stalkers are just randomly out in society,
Yeah, just random people.
And citizens can get rewards for giving information to like where his whereabouts are.
I've never read this story, but I want to read this story.
It's so much better, yeah. And
like I so want to read this now.
And then in the I don't know, damn it, I don't want to tell you the end now that you said you just wanted to read it. But the end,
spoilers don't bother me.
Okay, so the end of it, his wife and daughter were dead before he ever went on the show.
Oh no, shit!
And he ends up becoming one of the he ends up taking the job as the stalker, but then inevitably dies as well. So it's really good. Like I remember it being like
nobody
a
survives
really
Stephen King books. The family never survives.
And I was like really because I remember when I was a kid, I read the book because I swear I think this is why I read it. I had in-school suspension because I was just a dumbass.
Go figure.
And I think it was like 3 days where you just sat in this room in a cubicle all day through the school. Yeah, you weren't allowed to do. Yeah, you were only allowed to but you got your fucking homework done in like an hour because that's all you're doing, and then you have 7 hours to kill. So I read this book.
So I read like 20 books that year.
Oh, yeah.
It's like my Lexile score went through the fucking roof.
And I just remember being really excited.
Pizzas.
I remember being really excited when this when I read the book and I found out that there was a movie, that had come out about it. I was so excited. And then I watched it. And even as a kid, I remember thinking like, that was fucking bullshit. Why didn't they do the regular story? The regular story is so much more interesting.
Right? I think I read it before I saw the movie because I knew the movie was coming out. I think that's what happened with me. But
you were like what, 45?
Yeah, I was 45
when this movie came out. So yeah,
no,
I thought the best part of the movie was Jesse Ventura and Richard Dawson. Here's why I didn't like Schwarzenegger, because it didn't seem to me like he was upsetting anyone in those matches. Even with all their weapons, I was like, yeah, he should probably be able to kill you. You're fat, and you're wearing a light bright. I think it would have been better off with. I think Stallone would have even been a lot better, just because he's not nearly as physically big, or Van Damme, obviously, something like that, but.
Well, they had some other people that were in line to play in the movie. It doesn't say who, but Dolph Lundgren was one. Christopher Reeve was also one.
Well, Christopher Reeve was interested. He wanted to be in the movie.
Yeah, both of them.
He would have been better too. He could have been believable.
Not quite so imposing.
Yeah, like you
having that guy.
You needed to be an underdog.
Yeah, having that guy jump up and wrap a rope around somebody's neck and strangle him.
Yeah,
you're like, well, okay.
I would have like. If I was in that society, when I saw, I would be like, I'm betting on that guy when it started.
Yeah.
When it's 1,000-1 and he isn't killing him, I'd be like, yeah, give me, the fucking foreigner who's giant and in shape. Oh, wait, I'm not going to bet on fucking Baby Huey over here.
Patrick Swayze was also considered.
That was around the time Patrick Swayze was big for that.
Yeah, that would have been about the same thing, yeah.
Now, here's the reason why I liked it and I think it holds up. In the 80s, you had a bunch of movies, especially starring Schwarzenegger, that when looking back now, it's like those are they're cheesy action films like Expendables is now. I mean, Expendables was kind of falling in that same line. I mean, you had Commando, you had Predator, Running Man, basically any Schwarzenegger movie, and even Rambo to an extent. They're just cheesier action movies that you can't really take it too seriously, and this falls right into that category. And it's one of those. I'm trying to think of the word.
If the word iconic comes out of his mouth.
No, I'm not going to say iconic.
He loves that word. If that word comes out of his mouth.
Guilty pleasure. It's like one of those guilty pleasure movies.
No, but see,
RoboCop is another one of those movies.
Maybe this is again personal for me because I actually read a book, and it was a book that I actually enjoyed reading, and
and I get what you.
And that's how I think because it's like to me, maybe I would have appreciated it if it would have been a standalone, and I wouldn't have had any knowledge of the book existing, and I hadn't remembered getting my hopes up. But even watching it this time, all I could think about, I was like kind of Wikipediaing and reading through. Like the book again and being like, yeah, why didn't they do this?
Yeah.
Why wasn't this the script?
Yeah, and I get that. And like I said, I read the book too, and yeah, it would have the book if they would have made the book version, it would have been a hell of a movie.
So in 1963, there was a film called The Running Man. Okay, so this is I'm trying to figure out here because, like I said, I didn't know about the book situation. So did Stephen King see The Running Man, get a conceptual idea of what he what that further story should have been, and then write the Running Man story? Like if that's what it is, then like I can understand like him fleshing out that story more in the novel would have done that, but I still don't see like And I understand what you're saying. Like, there's guilty pleasures in movies. I understand that. But I've rewatched Predator like a million times, and I enjoy that movie. I have not lost my joy in watching that movie. I've watched RoboCop about 100 times, the original, and have not lost my joy in watching that movie.
Total Recall's
watching this movie again, I've lost my joy in watching this movie. Come on, 3-boobed aliens? You know you like Total Recall.
Oh, yeah. That's a guilty pleasure movie.
But those movies, like, to me, and I don't know if they'll ever come up in there, but those movies still stand up for me. This movie, like,
Spoiler.
completely lost it. Like, completely lost it. There's no redeeming factor in this movie because I literally sat there and was like, why the fuck didn't they just do this? Like, why didn't you just do this? Like, and that you can't watch a movie like that.
Yeah.
That really takes you out of it. So.
You know, and all the things that we jokingly talked about, like, you know, with the cameras on the helicopter being there and whatnot. Yes, those are basic fuck ups for the movie. But
like the scenes where they show the bodies. Like, they show the bodies. Like, you see Conchita Alonso's like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. And, like, we're supposed to have her POV of her seeing these dead bodies. Then they use that exact POV for what they showed on the screen.
Yeah.
So is it her POV or is it a recording of them recording her looking at the body? Like, what the?
Yeah.
That's why it didn't make it, because those kind of things, like, how the fuck are you going to do that and then want me to still believe that?
If you want to take the movie seriously, yes, that's where it's like, no, fuck that. That doesn't make any sense, and this movie's no good. But, again, this is one of those movies where you can't take it seriously at all. I mean, hell, you got a guy dressed up as a gigantic light bright. So... You just have to take everything with a grain of salt, and yes, it's going to be cheesy, but again, for me, it's a guilty pleasure, and will always hold up.
Apparently, the budget was $27 million, which back in that time frame is probably a pretty high budget. They made $38,122,000 on that movie.
And I'll tell you this:
talk about eating their fucking shirts on that one.
Of that $27 million, like I started to mention earlier, there were 4 directors. The first 2 wanted to take the story in a different direction. The third guy worked for 4 days until he made it go over budget $8 million. And so they fired his ass and brought in the guy that ended up finishing the film out. And he wasn't even sure he wanted to do it because he's like, you guys have already started. How far along are you? And they were like, I think it was like 8 weeks already into it or something like that, because there was time in between the third director and then that director too. So they were already, behind.
I've got to score some steroids. That's the line.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
Oh.
You've been trying to find that line.
So, yeah, you know what, though? I mean, I get it. It is a cheese fest, and normally I love those kind of movies. But, again, I think it's just my connection to the book. This is like the one time I understand when people say that. Yeah. But, again, it's not for any douchey reason. It's just literally I like that story so much more.
But that story sounds so much more interesting than what this. And even probably 14-year-old me would like, that story sounds cooler than this.
And I'll tell you what, the story is really intense too, because you're basically with him the entire time, and there's people coming after him, and he's having to hide in different people's houses.
So all of this stuff is happening in society.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you're the running man. You're on the run.
Exactly. That's why I was getting ready to say that. I don't even know why they call this the running man.
Yeah.
Like, he's only running around in these little, like, that to me is the perfect name because, yeah, he's running across the country. Yeah. He's on the run.
Right.
They're inside, like, this.
Giant arena.
They should have called this American Gladiator.
There you go.
And
I know this is the inspiration for that show.
And Hunger Games.
I am shocked that this has a 61% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Does it really?
Especially when Batman got a 29%.
Yeah, this is amazing to me.
Batman Superman. Pardon me. Let me correct that.
We all know why that is.
I do think it might be time for one of our newer segments that we have. Well, let me ask you guys this: are we going to? We probably should have talked about this during the break.
Welcome to behind the scenes.
Are we going to be recasting this movie?
I'm guessing you have some ideas. So
I meant no. Don't pretend I don't have anything for it. Okay. I'm asking you guys if we're doing.
We always recast them. So
okay. So are we going to do it?
I'm outnumbered.
Okay, well then, I'm going to go ahead and do this as a separate segment in case in the future we have precedence for this being a segment.
Okay.
Hang on, I've got a little thing for it.
Stand by.
Bear with me. Here we go. All right, ready?
Okay, here it is. Great podcasting.
When you edit it, it will be.
And now, Miley Cyrus reads quotes from the movie Running Man. You cold-blooded bastard, buddy. I'll tell you what I think of it. I'll live to see you eat that contract, dude. But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine, buddy.
Buddy.
Gillian, I'll be back, buddy. This has been Miley Cyrus reads quotes from The Running Man.
I can't believe you didn't even say the Sub-Zero line.
What's the Sub-Zero line?
Killian, here's your Sub-Zero. Now Plane Zero.
Why did you just become
terrible,
Mexican?
I don't know. That was a terrible Schwarzenegger.
And now, part 2 of Miley Cyrus reads quotes from The Running Man. Hey, Gillian! Hey, Gillian! Hey, buddy! Here's your Sub-Zero. Now Plane Zero, dude! This has been part 2 of Miley Cyrus reads quotes from The Running Man.
So we've already kind of hinted on other people that you would use as as Ben Richards. They've had a couple that you said, they
Well, but those were from that era.
Right.
We're recasting, we recast it now.
Right.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna
Oh, I've got a good one for Killian.
for the game show host?
Yes. Now, with this one, they took from Family Feud. I'm also going to take from
This is
Family
Steve
Feud.
Harvey.
It's Steve Harvey.
Of course he is. And he's going to apologize.
Listen here, player.
I'm sorry to have to put you down in there, player.
I don't know though. He doesn't seem sleazy. Can you see Steve Harvey being
It
like
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So I'm of course putting in for Yaphet Kotto's guy. We're going to change him to Samuel L. Jackson because he's got to be in everything.
which guy?
For Yaphet Kotto's character,
black dude.
the black guy.
Oh, okay.
So we switch that up.
I'm surprised you wanted to stick with the black guy.
Why?
Sam Jackson would be good for Richard Dawson.
Yeah, he would play it.
Yeah.
And he's actually done that where he plays the newscaster guy
He did on RoboCop.
In RoboCop, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would definitely work.
Who would you go with for your running man?
My running man would be
What's his name, Corey? Ben Richards.
Ben Richards.
so I'm doing the black cast. We're gonna go with Wesley Snipes.
Are you making the entire cast black?
Hell yeah,
All right.
Wesley Snipes.
Well, I don't know. It's like, how do you want to go with this? Do you want to go with an action star, or do you want to do somebody that's believable, like we were saying, that would be the underdog? That,
Tom Hanks.
or do you want to go? Do you want to go older, or do you want to go younger?
Draws a face on a grenade, carries around with him.
I was,
Dynamo!
I was thinking Liam. What's it? Liam Hemsworth.
The little brother.
Huh?
The little brother.
No. Thor. Is it Liam?
No.
Or what's his first name?
Ian?
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris.
Hemsworth. Yeah.
Where'd you get Liam from?
I guess
I
that's
think
his brother.
little brother.
Yeah, that's his brother.
Oh, I thought you were thinking Liam Neeson.
Who coincidentally is married to or is in a relationship with.
Yeah. Oh, with Miley.
Cyrus.
Oh, no, get it, buddy.
Yep. they were supposed to get married, then they broke up, and I think they're back together now. So.
And there's your Miley Cyrus news.
Awesome news.
We're back together.
I wanted that dick.
And Maria Conchita Alonso's role, Eva Mendes. You slipped up earlier. Let's cast her.
We slipped her in there.
Yeah, I think it was.
I'm going to go with Cookie from Empire.
Oh God.
Oh, Tajiri?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but as Cookie.
As Cookie?
Literally as Cookie from Empire. Yeah, that's you got to play the character like that.
Who's your Captain Freedom?
Rock.
You say The Rock?
Yeah.
I could actually see The Rock as also as like a Ben Richards if you're going the classic way that they did it. Mm-hmm. And honestly, he'd probably be the guy that would be it. He's actually going to be. He's actually trying to get a remake made of a future movie we're going to be doing.
Yes, he is.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes.
Producing and starring in.
Yeah.
Let's not get too deep into that.
Let's not go too far.
Dynamo. Butterbean.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry,
I
who?
actually thought it was
Butterbean.
Butterbean at first.
Butterbean for who?
Dynamo.
For Dynamo.
The light bright.
Who?
Butterbean. He's a
No, I know who Butterbean is, but for who?
for Dynamo.
Who?
The light bright.
No, I'm sorry. I think you mean Dynamo.
I said it wrong. Sorry. Used the wrong inflection.
Butterbean. He's too old now.
It doesn't matter.
You just went fat guy, right?
Yep.
Fat guy you could think of.
Yep.
You're like, Chris Farley's dead.
Well, we could have gone Kevin James.
I swear to God, I kind of thought of that too. But then I was like, oh, that's going to be.
That's so douchey. Let's see. What about Buzzsaw?
The dude from the Asian guy from Ride Along 2.
Buzzsaw?
Wasn't he Asian?
I didn't see.
No. You're thinking that Sub-Zero was Asian.
Oh, Sub-Zero was Asian.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, I think he was Samoan. He's from Hawaii.
Yeah.
He's born in Honolulu.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't really matter. I don't know. You didn't really see much of him. Like, it wasn't. I don't know. He wasn't really a present character to me.
I mean, this is going to be another one we just all use wrestlers and action stars,
I
right?
know. Yeah. I think
That's
so.
why I was kind of thinking we should have done the Miley Cyrus segment as a standalone.
Yeah.
Because I was
Yeah.
looking through and I was like, there's not a whole lot here to recast that's not going to end up being the same wrestlers we've done every other time. Jim Brown's still around, though. I bet he's still in pretty good shape. We could get
I
him
was like, I'll do it again.
to reprise his role.
I ain't got nothing else to do.
It's Fireball. But yeah, I was really disappointed because I had forgotten how much I didn't like this movie when I saw it when I was younger. So I felt like I was going in with a fresh mind. But again, I just kept thinking, like the whole movie just kept reminding me how much better it would have been if they would have told the story the right way. Speaking of which, another Stephen King book that I felt like always should have been made into a movie that never was. Did you guys ever read Rage?
I don't. Wait, what was it
It was
about?
put out the same time he was doing this whole
Richard Brockman.
Bachman. Is it Brockman? Bachman. Yeah.
Pseudonym.
It was a story about a high school kid who shoots up his school and then takes his class hostage. And then ended up getting like linked to school shootings in like I think the 70s and 80s, and so he let it fall out of publication because of that. But I read that in school during another in-school suspension as well, and that was a good ass book.
No, I didn't read that one.
Yeah, I never heard that one.
I was thinking of Pulse. That was one I just read.
No, Rage.
Yeah.
Rage. I think it was written in the early 70s, maybe, but
No,
it's a really good book. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Survivor Series presented to you by the Showdown Podcast. For Corey Miller, Vic Miller, I am Brad Scott. And boys, you have anything you'd like to say?
This movie's still awesome.
This movie did not survive, though. It is a no-go. It will not go into the Hall of Fame.
We're going to bury it
Bullshit.
deep underground.
Until next time, check out our next Survivor Series episode,
Next
which
week.
will be next week, and
Yes.
that will be How High? Gee, I wonder if the smoker of bowls here is going to say if it survives or not.
I wonder.
So we'll talk to you later.
What's your position on this?